Most men never fully grasp what truly pulls a woman closer during those initial conversations. They spend years assuming it comes down to height, wealth, physical appearance, or rehearsed lines, entirely missing the hidden mechanics of human attraction. The real influence lives inside the specific words you choose early on. Small phrases shape emotion, emotion shapes attraction, and attraction grows from how she feels in your presence, not what she sees. Right now, millions of men stay trapped in flat, surface-level conversations that vanish the moment they end. You have likely experienced this yourself, walking away from an interaction wondering why it felt so completely ordinary, or watching someone else speak to a woman and noticing the energy instantly shift as she leans in, smiles longer, and pays attention in a way that feels magnetic. If you have ever wondered why some conversations spark instant connection, while others quietly fade into politeness, you need to pause and examine the underlying psychology. There is a specific, repeating pattern observed in real interactions where certain words activate curiosity, emotional safety, and intense intrigue almost instantly. These are not manipulative tricks. They are fundamental psychological responses that transcend culture and personality. When used naturally, they create an effortless conversational rhythm that encourages attraction without force or pressure. I am Emily Carter, and welcome back to The Female Game, where we dissect the real psychology behind attraction, communication, and emotional connection. If you are ready to understand female psychology on a deeper level rather than relying on surface-level advice, pay close attention, because understanding these exact conversational triggers will completely transform how you approach your very next interaction. Imagine a standard scenario. You meet someone new, and the exchange begins with typical small talk. Where are you from? What do you do? How was your weekend? It feels polite, but the emotional energy remains completely flat. Both people are technically speaking, but neither feels pulled into the exchange. Then suddenly something shifts. Her eyes brighten, her shoulders drop, and the pacing slows down into a comfortable, captivating rhythm. That shift is not accidental. It is her brain responding to specific emotional signals. Attraction begins in micro-evaluations, and your words directly guide that process. Two men can say almost the exact same thing, yet one conversation feels magnetic, while the other feels entirely forgettable. The biggest mistake men make is chasing impressive sentences instead of triggering meaningful emotion. Attraction is never impressed by performance or cleverness. It responds directly to emotional safety and genuine recognition. When a woman feels truly understood, her guard softens and connection begins. People rarely remember the exact sentences you used, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Emotional memory attaches your presence to a positive internal state, causing her brain to automatically associate you with comfort, curiosity, and deep engagement. The very first phrase relies on curiosity, which is one of the single most powerful forces in human psychology. When the human brain senses an incomplete idea, it instinctively craves closure. If someone begins a story and pauses halfway through, your focus sharpens instantly because your mind demands the rest of the information. When applied gently in conversation, this principle transforms an ordinary exchange into an unforgettable moment. Imagine she shares a personal detail about her life, her personality, or a childhood memory. Instead of offering a standard response, you look at her naturally and say, "You remind me of someone." You pause for a brief second, and then lightly add, "Actually, never mind," before continuing the conversation as if the thought simply drifted away. You do not stare, you do not emphasize it, and you do not act dramatic. You simply move forward. That small, unfinished idea creates an immediate curiosity loop in her mind. Her thoughts will continuously circle back to that moment. Who did he mean? Why did he stop? What did he notice about me? The power lies in your complete restraint. You are not rushing to explain yourself, which allows her imagination to build emotional tension. Attraction grows rapidly in the quiet spaces between words. Later in the conversation, she will almost always bring it back up, asking who she reminded you of. When that happens, you reveal a thoughtful, character-based observation rather than a superficial comment about her appearance. You might say, "You reminded me of someone I know who has this incredibly calm way of making everyone around them feel completely comfortable. When you told that story earlier, it felt exact same way." That moment transforms casual small talk into deep emotional recognition, making her feel seen on a level that few men ever reach. The second phrase focuses on a tool that most men use constantly, but rarely understand: the compliment. Most compliments fail entirely because they are utterly predictable. Attractive women hear variations of "you're beautiful" or "you look amazing" hundreds of times until those words turn into meaningless background noise. However, a compliment rooted in direct observation cuts through that noise instantly because it signals high emotional intelligence. Instead of praising her physical features, you acknowledge her character, awareness, or behavior. You might observe her social dynamics and say, "The way you explained that was really thoughtful," or "I noticed earlier how you made sure the quieter person in the group felt included." Not many people actually pay attention to that. Notice the fundamental difference. These statements are not about her appearance. They are about who she is as a person. Specific, observational praise activates genuine appreciation rather than suspicion, bypassing her natural defenses and relaxing her nervous system. When delivering this type of compliment, maintain soft eye contact, speak calmly, and then continue the conversation naturally without waiting for her approval or applause. The goal is emotional resonance, not validation seeking. This triggers a sudden combination of surprise and deep appreciation that quietly attaches itself to your presence. The third phrase introduces a psychological concept that is widely misunderstood: true intrigue. Intrigue does not come from acting distant, cold, or pretending to be a mysterious character. True intrigue stems from selective honesty and the willingness to reveal something unexpected about yourself: a rare opinion, a subtle quirk, or a harmless vulnerability. Secure, high-value individuals have no issue calmly admitting small imperfections, and that contrast immediately commands attention. For example, if she asks what you like to do in your spare time, instead of giving a generic, impressive answer, you smile and say, "I actually have a strange habit. I love going on extremely long walks in total silence, no music, no podcasts." Most people think that's completely weird. That brief moment breaks her expectations, reveals genuine personality, and sparks fresh curiosity. She suddenly wants to understand how your mind works, pulling her deeper into the interaction. These phrases are not disguises. They are conversational catalysts that allow your real character to shine through with absolute clarity. Beyond these phrases, there is a conversational shift that alters the power dynamic completely, and most men never realize it exists until they experience it. When she asks you a personal question, standard conversations follow a mechanical, interview-like structure: question, answer, next question, next answer. This routine quickly kills attraction. To break that predictable pattern, when she asks a personal question, you smile lightly, pause, and ask, "What do you think?" This simple reversal forces her brain to transition from passive listener to active participant. Instead of simply receiving information, she begins using her imagination to guess your background, analyze your personality, and share her observations about you. Through her guesses, she inadvertently reveals her own values, thoughts, and perceptions. The conversation transforms instantly from a performative interview into a collaborative, playful exchange. The underlying principle connecting all of these dynamics is emotional leadership. You are not attempting to control the conversation or perform for her approval. You are calmly guiding the emotional atmosphere. Emotional leadership means staying entirely relaxed while inviting her into a shared experience. Silence is never your enemy. A brief, deliberate pause before you speak adds immense weight to your words, communicating that you are comfortable, unhurried, and completely secure in yourself. Slow down your vocal pacing, maintain steady presence, and allow the interaction space to breathe. When you replace performance with genuine presence, her guard drops, her curiosity peaks, and attraction grows naturally without a single moment of force.